97.7 Dundalk FM.
Town Talk.
Okay, I have another awardee in studio with me now. Chloe O'Reilly picked up the best editing for the film Unravel at the recent Royal Television Society Awards, and she joins me now, and she's accompanied by James, and we're not sure whether James is going to take part in this interview or not, but he has a mic there, so he's good to go. First of all, Chloe, well done to you. An excellent achievement. Like the previous guests there, you've just completed your 4-year film studies degree at the DKIT, and you picked up an award for, and I know it's an area that really is, I have to say, the height of admiration for people who can actually excel at editing, because it's very, very difficult. It really is, and it requires an awful lot of skill and concentration and just general, I suppose, diligence. Was it something that you had always wanted to go into, or?
Not really. I kind of just said, oh, do you know what, I'll try editing. I like computers. I feel like I am kind of tech savvy, so I said I'll give it a shot, and I really enjoyed it. Like, even now I do it as a hobby on the side. Like, whenever I want to sit down, I'll open up Premiere Pro and put a few videos together and see how it goes. But yeah, I actually don't find it that difficult. I find it kind of relaxing sitting down and editing. Yeah, I really enjoy it.
But it's such an important part of the whole process of filmmaking, that, you know, that like a bad edit can just it can alter things, you know, catastrophically. So it is extremely important. The movie you were working on, or that you were awarded for, Unravel, what was that?
It was the TV pilot of a crime drama, the first episode of 6, and it centred around a sex trafficking ring, the investigation of a sex trafficking ring in a fictional town called Kilbridge, and it followed 2 female detectives, Detective Belford and McCardle, as they try to figure out who was responsible for all of this.
And how did you get involved with it? Was it again? I thought the 3 people that were in earlier, they had said they're lecturers. I think sort of pair them up. Did the same thing happen to you, or?
Yeah, it was actually my friend Katie who wrote the script and had the idea for it, and I was friends with Katie, but I never worked with her before, and I said, oh, maybe I should see how me and Katie do well together. And yeah, we got on really well. She is kind of like a tech savvy person too and likes to edit, so I knew like we could work together. And yeah, another friend of ours, Carla Farrell, she wanted to get on board and help her write it, and I had worked with Carla before and I really enjoyed working with Carla, so I was like, yeah, they're 2 girls I would love to work with.
And were you the same? You were working in that period where there was a lockdown, and
yeah, this was actually my second time to edit during COVID, during a lockdown. What can I say about that? I actually didn't mind editing at home, because, you know, I could pick my own time when I wanted to sit down and edit. I had no one, you know, in my ear. But then, of course, I wished Katie was sitting next to me, the director. I you know, she could give me a hand, but we just had to do it over Zoom, and yeah, it had to be done.
And yeah, like, you know, because that's if you think about the whole process, it is very collaborative. I mean, it's very important that the director and the editor work together to you know, to have to do that where you can't be beside each other is I'm sure very tricky.
Yeah, it was really tricky, because the director wants to be there and see what's going on with their work, but she did have a lot of faith in me, and I would send her a new edit every day to see, so she could see like how I was getting on, and did she like anything or did she not like something, did she want me to change it. So yeah, I just had to be in constant communication with her every day.
Did you do many edits? Were there a lot of abandoned stuff? And
I think there was about 11 or 12 or something like that. I kind of was like, oh, you don't like that bit? No worries, I'll do it again, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's difficult to kind of just to say, okay, that's it, just stop now.
Yeah.
You know, you've done it. Like, it's you can, you know, keep going on and trying to achieve the perfection. So you, like Bullet Castings in the Graveyard, obviously Unravel was nominated. Was it nominated in a number of different categories, or?
It was nominated in one for, best drama, I think it was, yeah. And then
you were nominated for your editing.
I actually didn't even know I was nominated. At the very end, they were like, "Oh yeah, and Chloe O'Reilly wins Best Editing for Unravel." So I was a bit like, "What? Where did that come out of?" So yeah, I didn't even know.
Okay, so you were just along to, offer support for the movie.
Exactly, yeah. And I just happened to be there, yeah.
Yeah. So, right, how did that feel then?
Well, I thought I had dreamt it. I thought I had imagined her saying my name, and James was actually sitting next to me. And the only reason I knew I won is because James looked at me and was like, "Chloe," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So she did actually say that. Yeah.
Okay, so you heard it, James. Are you alumni of GKIT Film as well?
Yes, of course. Yeah. No, it was no shock that Chloe did get it. I had worked with her on a previous project before, and yeah, it was no shock at all. I mean, if you can edit at home in your bedroom, you can edit really anywhere. So. Which is
probably, it's going to be a lot of the future for people. I think, that's
surprising what you can actually do from
out
home.
Of this. And yeah. So you obviously you finished your degree under those very difficult circumstances as well. Did you? How did you find that? How did you find that remote studying?
To be honest, remote, you do miss the crack, and it's just as simple as that, because our course is hands-on. We get to see each other, we get to have the crack, we get to go places, and when we had none of that, it was a little bit disheartening and a bit like, oh, where do we go from here, because this is our final year and we want to get to see and walk with each other again. So when that didn't happen, it didn't look like it was going to happen, because we went from plan A, B, C, D, but thanks to the lecturers, and especially Sarah McCann, who made things actually happen, and things started to reopen. So we were very fortunate.
Were you involved in Unravel, James?
No, I wasn't, unfortunately.
You weren't? Were you involved in a movie at all?
Yeah, I was involved in a documentary.
Okay.
It was called Ireland's Most Famous Witches. It was set for the way back in Ireland. It's that long since we done it, I forget now what it was about. But yeah, I was nominated for Best Documentary as well.
Okay.
But it didn't pick up anything, but at least someone did, for the college. But
and what was your function then?
Cinematographer.
Were you? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's a bit different. But I like editing as well, and I like walking alongside an editor, because I believe that's where the kind of magic happens,
So again, is that the area you see yourself?
Yeah, definitely. From a very young age, I suppose, always with the camera in the hand, and then the editing would have came second. Yeah.
So have you, obviously you're only a few months out of college, but has anything been happening?
Well, I actually do love editing, but I don't want to, maybe I will be an editor, because that is a good thing about this industry. You don't have to be one thing. One day I could be editing, the next day I could be on set. But I really want to be a third assistant director, which is the person who gets to look after the extras and make sure that they're acting natural in scenes. So yeah, I would love to do that. But then also, I think I might edit on the side as well and see how that goes.
And why third AD? That kind of...
It is a bit random.
Looking after the extras, I don't know.
You see, before I joined the course, I was like, I kind of want to get some experience to see, is it going to be worth my time doing these 4 years? So I signed up to be an extra. I got on Game of Thrones, was on that for a bit, and then I said, I think of every role I'd like to be the third AD.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were on the film set of Game of Thrones, and you were watching what everybody's doing, and you said, I want to be
that's the one,
the third AD. Mm-hmm. Okay, that I suppose does, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's also it's very achievable.
Yes, exactly. It's not. I'm not aiming too high, you know.
Yeah. Well, look, it's usually a stepping stone anyway.
Exactly.
But, it's a nice sort of, entry level position to get in and to sort of cut your teeth. So have you have you looked around for work, or do you see, because I asked the three people that were with me earlier, do they see opportunities here, or do they think they're going to have to go further afield?
That's actually a good question, because I was thinking about moving to London soon. There's this agency called Call Time Foundations, which takes in people just out of college, people maybe who are even just wanting a career change, and they take them in and they try help them with their CVs, and they'll try get them work. So I I've been in talks with them, so I might go over and join them for a few months.
Because I think, obviously there are some opportunities here, but there, the likes of London, there's going to be a lot more. Unfortunately, a move to London can be considerably can come with a considerable expense because
exactly.
it's
I mean, I'll always come back, maybe with a few credits to my name, and then it'll be easier to get work over here.
Well, yeah, that's true. What about yourself, James? I mean, are you...
Oh no, I'll be staying here.
You staying here?
Yeah, I'd miss home too much. I would.
It's interesting you said London, and you would think that the first place people might imagine they go to be working in the movies is to Hollywood, but that wouldn't sort of occur to anybody, or...
No, not really. I mean, many productions do, like many of these Marvel movies and American big Hollywood films do be filmed in London, just in the Pinewood Studios and that. So, I mean, yeah, it's not all in Hollywood, I guess. Yeah.
But what even just even see it, just to see the...
Oh yeah, I would love to go over.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no.
yeah. But and again, some of the Game of Thrones, unfortunately, that is finished, and I think they were talking earlier about some of the Star Wars, but there seems to be, I know the Vikings, they're still shooting here, and so there's still quite a lot happening in this country, and despite the fact that a lot of the tax incentives that were there have been removed, a lot of filmmakers still like to come and use what we have, and obviously that's a credit to the the personnel working within the industry, because when they come in, they do create employment for those people. So yeah. Have you been on obviously you have, because you were an extra, Chloe. What about yourself, James? Have you been on a film set?
No, I've got no calls yet.
You got no calls yet?
But yeah, someday. There is opportunities in the country, I suppose. It's about sometimes who you know and how eager you are, because if you want to get somewhere, you'll get.
And it is sometimes that as you said, it can help maybe if you know somebody.
Yeah, it does.
Particularly if you work for the national broadcaster and you have family there. I think that obviously is extremely helpful. Yeah. But it can be just being in the right place at the right time, can't it? And
definitely.
Yeah.
But as long as you know that before you sign up to the course, you're not guaranteed a job unlike other courses. You're there with creative people, and you have to work with a bunch of people and work very hard to actually get in somewhere. You can't just... It's not just handed to you, so... Yeah.
Was that something that they were sort of pointed out to you before you embarked on the course, that unlike maybe somebody who's studying accountancy, or that they're almost guaranteed a job when they come out, that might be a bit more difficult?
Yeah, it's not really, but kind of heading in, everybody kind of knows if you're in a creative environment, any course that's creative, you're not really guaranteed a job, but you can do a lot of that stuff on your own. You can go freelance, you can always video, nobody's going to stop you from videoing, taking pictures, creating, publishing. You can still keep doing that, but I suppose at a job end, here we are now, it's now time to start looking and hoping for the best.
And was that ever a deterrent? Did anyone try and talk you out of maybe going to film studies and sort of maybe veer you towards, I don't know, statistics or something that...
No, my mother wouldn't have anyway. I mean, that was the only thing I was interested in. I suppose if you're creative and people know about it, they'll let you, walk away. I suppose just stick to what you're good at.
Yeah. What about you, Chloe?
Well, I've always known since I was like 13 that I wanted to work in film, but I was a bit embarrassed when they came to 6th year and then was like, I want to be a nurse. And I'm like, I want to work in film. So I actually decided to be a veterinary nurse. And I did it for 2 years and my heart just wasn't in it. So then when it came to me being like, okay, I want to study film, everyone was like, yes, Chloe, go for it. Do something you actually like to do.
And that's very important, isn't it? I mean, you particularly as it's 4 years of your life that you're going to spend at college, and if you're not interested in what you're doing, it's not going to work anyway. So
life's too short.
Did you enjoy the course?
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
really did.
Really enjoyed it.
And because I know you're not local, although I think you're Carrick, James.
Yeah,
so.
Monaghan.
Monaghan.
Wee small town.
And Chloe, you're Cavan.
Cavan, yeah.
And was this your college of choice, the DKIT, or?
I think I just Googled film courses and it was the first one that came up and I was like, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I had no plans on going to college. I absolutely hated school with a passion. And I went to this open day on a Saturday and it was very, very quiet. Walked around the Carroll's building, got lost. And I met other people as well that would have been joining my course. And I think I like this because you get to see the practical end of the TV studio, and that appealed to me big time.
Okay.
Know. So, yeah.
So you weren't working towards that?
No.
And how far away from your leaving cert were you when you
filled out
had this epiphany?
Yeah, I filled out the application. I was working in a meat factory straight after leaving cert, and people were saying, you haven't even turned 18 yet, just go, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. So that's what I done. I signed up to DKT, started there in 2017, and at the start, like, I was thinking, I don't know if I'm prepared for this at all, because it's a scary environment once you're not used to it. It's completely different to school. So stuck at it. You've good days, bad days, but mostly good.
And 4 years later, you've got your degree and your passion, and your direction. So there you go, an open day.
Yeah.
So if there's anybody out there at the moment who's not sure what direction to take, maybe head to a few open days. You'd be surprised. Anyway, listen, once again, Chloe, well done to you. It's a fantastic achievement, and it's great for yourself, and it's also great for the college. I know that they are so proud of all of the students anyway, but it's a great prestige for them to be picking up awards like this. So yeah, it's great. And James, I didn't even get your surname because you were not going to talk.
I kind of pushed him in the room.
It's Flanagan.
James Flanagan.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is James Flanagan and Chloe O'Reilly. Thank you so much for dropping into Town Talk this morning.
97.7 Dundalk FM. Town Talk FM. Town Talk.